What's going on, guys? T2RX6 here, back for another third-party review, and as you can see, we've switched our background back to black. I've been having some white balance issues with my camera when it's on white, so back to black we've gone. Anyway, today we're taking a look at the DX9 Richthofen, otherwise known as Powerglide. Don't know why he has the Richthofen name, but whatever. If you do, leave it in the comments below. I'd be interested to know. Let's talk about accessories besides the gun he's holding. He comes with the mask from the Transformers in Hollywood episode. If you want to use it, you spin his face around and you'll see the peg there. He comes with the girl who loved Powerglide, who, it looks nice. I mean, there's no problems with it. Could have used some eyes and stuff, but it's pretty small. Regardless, it's a nice accessory to have next to your Powerglide. And also, he comes with what I believe every plane-based Transformer should have, and that's a flight stand. And to kind of adjust it, you take this apart, move it around, and then plug it back in. It comes in four sections, I should say. The little top piece up here is its own little section too. So it's nice to have if you do display him in his jet mode. I definitely think a stand is useful. So right off the bat, quick word of warning, he is taller than MPB, so if you want your mini bots to be the same size as B, do not apply. But for me, he's okay because he satisfies the rule of being shorter than an MP car. So as long as a mini bot is shorter than an MP car, I'm okay with it. So he ends up being about the same size as the X-Trans bots Cosmos. So quick look at the figure here. He does have some die cast in here, like these pieces right here on both sides, and I'm not sure if he has any down here in the thighs or anything. He does get some relatively cold feeling parts, but it's hard to tell what's die cast and what's not. But he does have a pretty good heft to him. Most of the figure is painted. Not really going to go over articulation. He does everything you want with a pretty good range of motion and pads that move out of the way to the hip skirts that, although stiff, will end up moving out of the way. I think they'll loosen up later on. I will say, notably, I do have some hard times getting the legs into a position that I really like for a pose, but I think if you're better than me at posing your figure, you can manage to work this out. He does a pretty wicked Han Solo pose, that's for sure. Right here on the chest, you can open this up and you can see his little heart in there. It's also how we access the landing gear. So that's all there really is to say about this guy in his jet or robot mode. So let's go ahead and get him into his jet mode. Also, notably, there is no peg on the gun. It just slides into the hand, but the hand holds it fine, and the pointer finger is articulated separate, so he does get that nice finger on the trigger look. No complaints there. So let's end up starting with the hands here. I know the instructions don't tell us to do that, but I prefer to do it that way. Actually, before we do that, we'll go ahead and unclip this backpack section because I feel like that's important. So we'll go ahead and take this, rotate it down and into the wing here on both sides, and then we'll work on the arms. So we want to take the shoulder pad, flip it on up, open this part, flip his hand in and close this up, and now you're going to want this outside of the arm pad to line up with this, and it should be fairly obvious which direction you need to rotate things to make that happen. So again, lift this up, rotate this in, rotate that down, swivel this, flip it up, rotate the wrist, or the elbow I should say, and fold it in like that. So now we got this going on. Let's go ahead and take his face. It's not very hard, just use your fingernail on the side of the mouth plate, and you can see that's the slot you would plug the face into. And this is easily forgotten. Take this, pull it all the way out, work it around, and then push it back in place, and then you can take the head and push it down just like that. So we got that. I think that's the top part of the plane done. Next, we're going to take this, rotate the thigh so the screw is there, and then rotate it so the engine is on the inside. Unplug the engine, bring it all the way around. We'll go ahead and fold this little piece down and fold this in. Take the foot, unpeg the wing here, just fold this up, and then take this and rotate it down like so. Again, come to the other side, rotate this around, rotate that around, Bring the engine down and around. Plug that, or not plug that in, but swivel it back in. Close this. Undo the wing. Rotate the foot in. Take the wing, rotate it up, and now on one of them, the other foot here, you have this little peg. We have that ready. This is probably the hardest part in my opinion, and it's not even all that hard. So we're going to take this, fold it down. Now this hinge here is very stiff for me, but you want it to fold all the way down, and if you do it right, you'll see that it's going to clear that back panel here. It is a little tough the first go or two, but keep with it, it'll work. Take this, unfold it all the way like that. Once you have that in place, you can go ahead and fold these legs closed. Just like so. Everything should kind of look pretty nice there. Take the engines, kind of fold them straight to the sides. And now once you have that, you can take this piece and kind of fold it up and fold it past, which is sometimes easier to do when you move the landing gear up. But kind of work it past the bottom here till it plugs into place. Then go ahead and fold that landing gear down. Now all we have to do, take the wings down, and you'll see there's a little like slot there, and there's kind of a tab there. It doesn't ultimately end up working all that well to secure this in place. They come out relatively easy, so it's more kind of like a suggestion, but once it's in place, I mean, it works just fine. I mean, it's not going anywhere. There we go. We got Powerglide in his jet mode. If you want landing gears on this thing, you can take this, fold it down. I don't know if the Warthog actually had these ones down here, but he has some on the sides of his arms here. And then you open up the heart chamber, and you need to put a little bit of pressure on the bottom and put your finger in there, and you'll start getting it to work out. And you got one there. So he sits just fine. If you want to arm him up with his gun so you don't have an extra piece, you just simply plug this into the headpiece where that mask would go, and that's how the gun sits there in his alt mode. So yeah, there's not too much to say about this guy in his alt mode other than that I don't necessarily think he's in scale with his Woman Who Loved Powerglide. I definitely think she's a little bit big for this cockpit here, but I mean, he looks fine, and she kind of looks like a pinup girl on the side of the plane. I don't know. Here he is next to an MP car. You can see he's pretty large overall in his alt mode. It's satisfying. I think the transformation is fun. I think the toy is well built. Like, I have a hard time not saying that this is a good incarnation of Powerglide. The only hesitation I would say is if you think he's too big for your MP shelf, then that's probably your deal breaker. But outside of that, I don't think a better Powerglide's been made thus far. So anyway, let's go ahead and get him back to his robot mode, and let's get out of here. We're going to go ahead and open up his chest compartment and flip that in. And we'll flip all his landing gears on in now. Unpeg these. Kind of just leave them like this. I'm going to take this piece, and I used the landing gear to help me pull that out. I don't know if it's the best thing to do, but it doesn't feel like it's going to break or anything like that. Just be aware of it. So once you have that detached, you can go ahead and split the legs here all the way. You just take this panel and this panel and fold it all the way back up like this, and we'll finish working with that after. Take the legs, spin it like this, spin it like that. Take the foot, and you want to make it so the wing's going to go over the back there. Also fold up that little peg there. Bring it down, the little heel spare comes out, fold that in like that. This part here is a little bit difficult with how it pegs together, so just kind of try to get into where it splits somehow and pull it apart. And then you gotta get underneath this little piece, which if you have no nails can be difficult, but it's not the worst thing. Bring it back, and you see that circle hole back there pegs right into there. So there's one leg done. Go ahead, spin that again, spin this, Spin this around. Go ahead and plug it into the foot. We'll go and open this up. Get this little securing piece around. Pop the leg out with this heel spur. Plug that on in. There's the second foot done. Coming back to the chest here, we'll pull this out so we don't forget it. Flip it around here, making sure we clear everything. Just push it back in place. Spin the head around like so. Take these little clips, kind of work them out here. And clips is not really a good word. You can see you have the tabs here again, which align with these slots here. Again, more of a suggestion more than the way it secures. But once you have them in place and you know you have it in the right place, you can take these little clips and kind of hold it there, and that does help secure everything all together. Let's just bring the camera up just a little, even though we're almost done here. Unclip the arms from the pegs here, bring the shoulder panels down, rotate them, bring the fist out like that, unpeg it, rotate it down, shoulder panel down, bring the fist out, and close them. There we go. We got our Powerglide back in his robot mode. Yeah, this guy I think is awesome. He's a lot of fun. He feels nice. He feels well built. Nothing feels like it's going to stress out. I will say I wish the heel spurs maybe held in place a little bit better, because he does kind of feel like he wants to go back, but once you get it kind of worked out, it's fine. I mean, there's really no big deal. You can kind of work with the heel spurs just a little, bring them down to give that forward lean a little bit. Yeah, it's nice. It's a good figure. I think it's my favorite DX9 figure that I've got a chance to mess with. So yeah, like I said, the only thing that I could say that makes this guy a pass is if you don't like his scale compared to MP Bumblebee, which I can get. But again, for me, I don't mind mini-bots being taller and shorter and all that stuff, because I feel like they're sentient robots. Some are going to be taller, some are going to be smaller, and as long as you're smaller than a carbot, then I'm good with it. So this is T2RX6. I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I'll see you next time.